What's going on, everybody? Zen from a Car Guy's Garage coming at you again on this Sunday. It's 11:41, and you know I'm pretty excited about today's vlog. I have three really good questions that were asked by a bunch of people. They're not the exact same question, but they all move into the same one in the end. So I think that as you guys start to get to know me and know what's going on in the background, what's going on in my life in terms of the cars that I want to build and restore and my business and where I see it and stuff like that, you guys want to get all that information, and this is the best way for me to turn around and share that with you. So without further hesitation, like last week, I wrote down three questions, and I'm gonna get at them. So the first one that a lot of people have been asking me is about my project car, the 2JZ TC. For those who don't know, I do have a project TC. It's in the garage. It's fully stripped. It's one of those things that I envisioned it, and while I was working at my day job, I had the funds necessary by turning around and doing a Car Guy's Garage on the back end. It was, I was just doing a few knobs here and there, and I was using that money to funnel into doing the project. So for those of you who know about it and those who don't know, I'm trying to put a 2JZ GT motor in it. The motor is imported from Japan, so it's a Japanese motor. It's from an Aristo, but nonetheless, it's still a 2J. It's not out of a Supra, sorry guys, but I couldn't afford one of those. And yeah, that was my goal. Now, when I started this, I started it about a year and a half ago. I bought the car from a friend of mine named Chris, all the way in London, Ontario. I picked it up, brought it home. I cleaned the garage up, got it all started, and it's pretty much a shell now. I have a design for the engine mount on how I'm going to attach it. I have an idea of engine management and all of that. I have an idea of how I'm going to mount the rear diff and make the custom axles and stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot of work ahead of me, but it was pretty exciting to me. Now it stopped. Go figure. Like a lot of projects out there, people, for whatever reason, family, health, work, money, something like that turns around and gets involved more. And that's what's happened with me. So the project has stopped. I tinker on certain things here and there, but money-wise, I don't have any money to funnel into that project. Life and the business takes all my money. I don't have any spare money right now, with the business being as new as it is. I funneled all my money into my business. I put, I had life savings and saved money, and I had a job while I was starting it, but then I left that job. So money is what I don't have, and that's why I'm going to plug my company here. That's why I turn around and I have little kitschy things like hats, t-shirts, and keychains, items like that aren't expensive, but I make a few dollars off of, and I take that money and I put it in a little fund, and I'm slowly building up the car fund or the mod fund or whatever you guys might call it. So that's where I am right now with the TC. If you guys want to show some support my way, go buy a hat, go buy a t-shirt, go buy a couple keychains, DM me, PM me, email me, whatever. I could make you custom keychains here and there. But the money from those solely goes into my project. And slowly, as my company starts to make money, because right now it's not, because I bought all this machinery, then I'll be able to funnel more and more funds into the project. And that's the goal, is eventually to be able to start doing that car again. But the ultimate goal is for my business to succeed first, and then anything else after that is what's most important. So sorry to everyone who's been following it up until now, but that's where I am. And I see it every day, so it's really disappointing to me, but at the end of the day, there's more important things in life than just a car. All right? And with that, going into the next question is, where do I see my business going into the future? So the 2J was, I envisioned myself building this car, having this car, people knowing about this car, and then having a lot of my products on this car. Shift knob, e-brake buttons, e-brake handles, climate control rings, plate relocation kits, plate deletes, items like that. And when people ask me where I see my company in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I see myself expanding into bigger and better things. Now, it's a double-edged sword. I think the car world, the car community now, is that with the improvement of electronic vehicles, some might say, Zenon, do you really want to be putting all this money and effort into cars that aren't going to be on the road in 5, 10, maybe even 15 years? And that's a hard question to answer. That's a hard thing to look into the future with, because there's a lot of odds and ends, and there's a lot of moving pieces for that to happen, where all of a sudden we're just going to wake up one day and gas-powered cars are obsolete. I don't think that it's going to happen as quickly as people are saying, but I've been wrong in the past, and I'll be wrong in the future. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because if it does, well, then I guess I'm going to have to go flip burgers at McDonald's or something. But for the future, what I see myself doing is being able to offer more in terms of products for your cars. I'd like to get into alternator pulleys and crank pulleys and, battery tie downs, suspension work, and other areas like that. But just to keep that on a broad sense of what I would like to do. Right now I can't, because I'm hindered by machinery. So I only have a small mill. I have a fairly big lathe, so there's more stuff that I could do with the lathe. And I have my laser engraver, but I need CNC machinery. So a lot of these big companies out there, they have access, or they've bought, or they've financed, or whatever they have. They finance these nice fancy CNC machinery. So for those who don't know, CNCs, they're controlled by computers, and you could draw up a program, you could AutoCAD it, put it into this program, and get the tool paths and everything, and it could cut out from the metal based on the image that you drew on the computer, and that's great. So learning CAD and learning how to program these machines are my big goal over the next year or so. I would like to get really, really comfortable. There's software out there that I could download and that I've used to learn, and I'm terrible at it, but you got to start somewhere. So that's where I'm starting, is with that. So my future goals is to get into CNC machinery. I want to get a CNC lathe, not a huge one, but a big enough one, and I want to get a CNC mill. And once again, not a big one, but big enough to turn around and do other cool things. Another thing that I like to turn around and look into is like body moldings and stuff like that, where you make a mold and then you could just recast. When we talk about EVs, electric vehicles in the future, they all have door panels, they all have trim, they all have all these normal things that a car has, but they don't have shifters. Like, you get in your car, you press the gas, and away you go. So I think that a little bit of my company moving into that, I would like to look into, like I said, making these casts that I could turn around, and whether it be resin casting to make cool little door panels, or carbon fiberglass, stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to give you all my secrets, I don't want to give you all my ideas, but I think that could be something in the electronic vehicle world that I could work my way up to. And the great thing is that my brother, he does have a Tesla, so one of these days when I'm not as busy as I am, I could turn around and look at the car, maybe not take it apart because he might not like that, but look at it and be like, okay, what can I do in this car that would be cool, that other people might like, that I could turn around and monetize to a way that, you know, my company could grow into that area. So that's something else that I'm looking at for the future involvement. So in the future, I got to get into CNC machinery, because my shift knobs are very, not basic shapes, but I have some cool little designs. But companies like Likewise and Ray Sang, they have these beautiful machines that allow them to do these amazing pieces. And that's really what I aspire to do, is to be able to offer a wider range of items. And right now, I have my lathe and my little mill, so I do my best with what I have. But the future, like I said, there are a few little things that I'd like to do, and it all starts with CNC machinery. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see if I have the $100,000 in a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, to turn around and invest into 2 of those machines. You know, you sit there, like, I didn't fall off my stool because I've been thinking about this for a long time, but maybe you will, is thinking, you know, $100,000 for a lathe? Like, are you kidding me? $100,000 for a mill? There are obviously more expensive ones, but the one that I'm looking at, you know, they're roughly around $65,000, $70,000 for the lathe, and then $40,000 for the mill. So we'll see. Obviously, inflation and tariffs and all that good stuff get involved in that, and the dollar. So, you know, maybe it'll be $100,000, $120,000. Who knows? So yeah, that's where I see my company moving forward in terms of product design and stuff like that. Now, another area that I see my company going is I'd like to get out to more car shows. I have the season closer for Rumble Nation coming up. That's October 14th, I believe. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. I think it's the 14th. So now I'm producing for that car show. So every item that I'm bringing up there, I'm making now. So I'm giving myself a month. Come next year, I always do the season. I'll do the season opener next year for them. But I'd like to get out to 1 or 2 car shows every single month to start getting my business out there. Start letting people know in the Ontario region what I am doing. Because car shows are great, because you could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 people there. And that's a great way to get your product out there. So that is another little tidbit of where I'd like to take the company, is to doing more car shows. And car shows, not just in Ontario or Durham region near me, or Toronto or London. Like, I would seriously like to get out into the States and stuff like that. You know, drive down with my car, have it all set up. You know, I have custom pieces in my car so people could see it. And I just think that would be great, is to start meeting the customers that I have all the way in Texas and California. That'd be a great way. Now, obviously, it's not going to happen tomorrow. That's going to take, you know, a couple years. But it's something to aspire to. So there you go. Get to more car shows, CNC machinery, body moldings. Who knows? Hopefully that answers that question. Now, the last question is, do you regret leaving your job to start a car guy's garage? This is a very, very tough question for me to answer. Car Guy's Garage was started totally by mistake. And it just grew from there. Like, when I started, I was only making license plate relocate kits. And then I got into shift knobs that I was only leaving in bare aluminum. And then I got into powder coating. And then I got into e-brake buttons. And it's grown into what it is today. My goal is to stay at my job and build up my company slowly by having that extra revenue that the company was bringing in to buy all these machines and to buy all the stock. And that didn't work out. Unfortunately, I was forced to leave my job last December. I don't want to get involved in that because it's still an ongoing thing. But if I would have stayed there, honest to God, and this is like no bullshit, I'd probably be 6 feet in the ground by now. That's the God's honest truth. Not because of the job itself, just the bullshit on the back end. And when we think of the world that it is today, I'm very surprised at how bad things got there. But at the same time, I'm not surprised, because that's just the way big companies are. So I do regret leaving my job, but I'm thankful that I left, because the alternative of being in the ground or on the mantle next to my dad is that's worst case scenario. So I wish I could have stayed longer, built up a little bit more revenue like built up a little bit more of a bank balance so that I could buy all these machines. But when I left, I was thinking, you know, January and February, what am I going to do? Am I going to do this business? I went out and bought more machines, more this, more that. And then it wasn't until, you know, May that I was like, okay, we're going through this. We're going to make this work. And I still suffer from, you know, issues leaving that I left from the work. And those aren't going to go away. It's going to take a long time for me to get past that. But I mean, I liked my job. I liked the people that I worked with, some of them. I liked a lot of people that worked at the school. I worked at a private school, so the teachers and the staff and the faculty, I really liked them. The kids, I miss the kids. You know, I miss seeing their smiles, them coming up and saying thank you for lunch or breakfast or dinner, whatever it may be. So that I genuinely do miss. I miss a few of the staff members, and fortunately, they've moved on to bigger and better things. Whether or not they followed in my footsteps, I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn, but they've moved on, and I'm so happy that they have, because just like me, they're happier. And ever since leaving, I've become happier with my life, and that's a very important thing. I've changed a lot since I've left there. I've changed my methodology, the way I think, the way I see the world, and things like that. And that's a very, very, very good thing for me, is that it's opened my eyes, and I've realized that, you know what, working 15, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week for a company that doesn't really care about you, it's not worth it. You know, money is great. We all want more money, but at the end of the day, you know what, if you don't have your family and you don't have your friends and you don't have that free time to turn around and be with them and share in the special moments, then, you know, you're going to miss that. And it might come 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It might come 50 years from now, but you're eventually going to miss that. And thankfully, I have that now, where I could wake up, take my wife to work, go to my parents' house and see my mom. If I want to hang out with her, I can. If I want to go to work, I can. If I want to help her around the house, I can, you know, and that's great. I really wish the old man was still alive, because this is a new opportunity for me, and I miss him. It's unfortunate, but things have changed, and that's why I do these. That's why I want to do these videos, is to let you guys know from a personal standpoint where I am. You know, working all the time, not important. Making all this money, to me, it's not important. It's the memories. It's the hanging out with family and friends. It's going up to the cottages or to the lakes. It's just spending time with people that I found is more important. You know, going to car shows, being around people who genuinely appreciate you, or who enjoy your company. That to me is what's important. So, like I told you guys in vlog 1, I'll just ramble off, and that's what I've done. But yeah, that's me just talking to you guys. So I told you, I want you guys to get to know me. That's just a little bit of insight into me. You'll get to understand more and more of my thought processes and my ideas, and where I'd like to be in this world. And yeah, that's why I'm going to do these. All right. So listen, comment below any questions, any comments that you want to have. Contact me at carguysgarage@gmail.com. DM me, PM me, go on to Facebook at A Car Guy's Garage, Instagram at A Car Guy's Garage, or www, you guessed it, carguysgarage.com. All right, guys, so till next time, thank you very much, and take it easy.